Shalom, Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All right, Shalom Babakar, good day. All right, to all the Jakes out there, part of the elect, whoever you are, wherever you are. Okay, Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahashem Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles, elders, or our apostles, elders of Great Millstone, elder bishops that rule well. And shalom to the prophets of the body, and shalom to the 144,001 third. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households as we approach the end. Lord willing, sooner rather than later. I know a lot of you are probably dwelling on certain things, watching certain movies, trying to play out in your mind how things will go down when things actually do go down, you know? But don't worry about it. These things have to happen. If you're part of that number to be saved and the Lord is giving you these spiritual clues, let's say that, and that spiritual confidence to let you know that you could be part of that number. You know, like when you have a job interview and you think, yeah, I got it in the bag, I got it in the bag. You know, many years ago when jobs are somewhat available, right? Okay, it feels kind of like that. Yeah, I got it in the bag, I got it. You know, only the Lord knows, of course, right? But we hope, hence the reason the term hopeful elect. But nevertheless, we have a beautiful heritage. Let's talk about the so-called people or the so-called human that have a horrible heritage. That's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. They have a horrible effing heritage. Okay? Now we're in a world where it's fast food, fast everything, instant gratification. All right? Um, everything's instant. Everything's, as I say, quick, smart. Right? Okay? And Esau Edom has the same mindset. He's impatient. He's emotional like a woman. All right. He bitches and moans. Okay. He can't even deal with hunger or fasting for a short duration of time. He can't even wait for food to be fully prepared so you can enjoy it. But it was all done in the spirit where he sold his birthright. It was never his to begin with because Esau is evil. The kingdom of heaven is not going to be ruled by evil people. Okay, Esau Edom is evil, right? And from the get-go, the Israelites have been chosen, right? And the way Esau looks is unclean and accursed, pursuant to the book of Leviticus. All right? Even though he's, they're known as clean lepers because they're pale all over, doesn't mean they're clean. They're just clean lepers, right? But the thing is, right, they have an evil nature. They look weird, right? And on top of that, they've had their time to shine. The Lord, man, look how filthy and disgusting Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is, and the heathen nations. Every heathen nation's had their time in the sun. They've ruled. They've been kings. They've been princes. Okay? They've pushed Jake around. They've told Jake what to do. Right? Esau Edom has had his time as well. And not just the first time. What about Rome? What about Greece? The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashar is very fair, even though Esau's a piece of shit. But the Lord still gave this cracker time to rule, time to have mansions, palm trees in his back garden with a huge garden with swimming pools, a jacuzzi, all that kind of thing, facing the ocean, right? While having a Latina or Northern Kingdom woman as a wife or a concubine or whatever. You know, you got a lot of Edomites that have that today, Amalekites, especially in Miami and Florida and some parts of California, I believe, and south of France and Spain and all that, right? Esau has had his time in the sun, and now it's coming to a close. All right? But just look at them. They're a weak man. Okay? Okay? They, pursuant to the book of Job, they're, what's it? Let me just, Is it Job 13 verse 8? Is it? Let me just see. No, that's not the one. Flocks. You know, they're a base people. All right. Even Job said that he wouldn't even put them with his flocks of his dogs. All right. I know I'm all over the place with it. I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that these crackers are disgusting, man. Job 30 verse 1. But now that they are younger than I, have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with dogs of my flock. These crackers were practicing bestiality back then too. This is their nature. You think the Lord is going to give these people rulership over the planet Earth? Okay? They've had their time in the sun, even though they're allergic to the sun. They have had their time to rule, but now their heritage is slavery for eternity. It'll be eternity for them because it's going to be a long, 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 long slavery for them. Because I mean, I speculate a lot. I think about it a lot how the years will be in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, I always assume that 100 years in the kingdom would be like 1,000 years on this side. So you get that 1,000 years that's going to be of slavery for Esau Edom. It could be like I don't know 100,000 years on this side. It could be, I don't know. I'm just speculating, right? I'm just thinking about it, how long it's going to be, but it's going to be long. Okay. And they are going into slavery for 1,000 years. And after 1,000 years, these devils, pursuant from the book of Obadiah 1:18, they're going to be deleted, burnt up. This is it for them. Okay. This is it for them. All right. They've been discovered. The skirts have been lifted. The whole world knows what Esau Edom is about, that there are nobody people. Their women never liked them from the get-go. They've always been dealing with Jacob on the side. Okay. Even though, Edomite women stepping out on their Edomite husbands or whatever, that is foul, that is wicked. But it goes to show that the Jacobite Israelite man, especially the Judite man, the so-called black man, is a very desired man for a lot of women around the world, especially the so-called white woman, because he's a masculine man, a handsome man, okay, a muscular man, a clean, hygienic man, and obviously he's blessed with a tool to satisfy a woman. He can scratch her itch, and he gets his itch scratched by her, right? And it looks completely normal when you see a so-called white woman on the arm of a Jake or a brown man, an Israelite man. It looks normal. The other way around, it looks completely abnormal. Where you see a cracker with one of our women, it looks weird. It's like Beauty and the Beast. But when you see a Jake with an Edomite woman, it looks normal. It just looks like just a bit. I mean, just a concubine that he's got. All right. Okay. This whole world, right, is on the same temperament as Esau. They want everything quick. That's why they have the same method of making people sell their souls for a quick buck to climb up the hierarchy. Okay, because they put Jacob in predicaments where they can't take care of their family. They're living in the hood. They're living from paycheck to paycheck, and they want out. Okay, so what Esau gives them, instead of a method of, okay, hey, if you work here 5 years and you can make it to this position, and you can have better money to take care of your family. I'm going to give you double your salary right now so you can take care of your family. But this is the method we're going to follow so you can be a provider for your family, right? Which takes time, just like a good meal takes time to prepare, and then you tuck in. All right. But instead, Esau Edom, just the way he sold his soul and his birthright, a lot of you 2/3 out there do the same thing. All right. And you don't have the mental ability or physical ability to even fast. You want food straight away. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Don't Jake speak like that? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Constantly stuffing your face with Cheetos. What's the other shit they eat? With the corn chips with cheese melted on top of it with meat and all that. Right? candy, Skittles, you know, constant. It's just the way Jake is, just like Esau Edom. That's why the 2/3 have to go. Pursuant to the book of Zechariah 13 and 8 and 13 and 9, two parts will be deleted, 1/3 will make it through. Right? Now let's go to some scriptures here. Um, let's go to 25 and 29 first. And Jacob's sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. All right, sod meaning he had it like soaking or whatever, right? Okay. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. Because he wanted to eat it raw, and they have that same mentality today. A steak tartare, I believe you're supposed to eat that raw, okay, which they do. I remember in French class back in the 80s, we had a French teacher, and she'd talk about the French Edomites eating their meals. They would eat it like this. First of all, they'd have their mashed potato, then they'd have their greens, and it would be all served individually. Like, for example, if there's like mashed potato, greens, and a meat, they'd have the mashed potato first, then the greens, then the meat. They'd eat it first, then put the next bit, then the next bit, then the next bit. Okay, and their meat they would always eat raw. And then she'd say, my French teacher would say, okay, then the French, what they do is they get some bread, and because there's blood and sauce left over from the steak or meat that they were eating, they would sop up that sop up that sauce, which has got blood in it, by the way, and the French would eat it. That's their nature. They eat blood. They're blood eaters. They show you that in their movies, Revelation of the Method, the vampires, okay? Which goes back to the so-called elites of today on the left-hand side, with the adrenochrome and drinking blood, and because life is in the blood, right? And this is their same nature today on the left-hand side. You think people like this are fit to rule? Look how they destroy the earth. All right? It was never theirs to begin with. But the Lord made it happen this way, okay, to show the mentality of Esau Edom. So Esau Edom can reflect upon it. They keep saying, oh, Jacob stole it. Jacob stole it. No, Jacob did not steal it. It was all done in the spirit. It was meant to be that way. Okay? It was meant to be that way. It was never meant to be yours anyway. Man's goings are of the Lord, right? Proverbs 20 and 24. The Lord controls all. You think the Lord just changed his mind? Oh, I was going to give it to Esau, now I'm going to give it to Jacob. No, it was never yours to begin with from the get-go. All right? And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore his name called Edom. I am faint, therefore his name is called Edom. All right? Red. They're red, okay? Rednecks. They're red all the time. They're not white, they're red. You can see their blood fall through their skin because they don't have any melanin. All right? You think the Lord loves them? They can't even go in the sun. They age like milk. And by the time they're like 40, they look like they're 60, they start looking like demons. All right? Jake could be like 45, 50 years old, other than the grays in his beard, or maybe if he's got any grays in his hair. Right? It's because some Jakes don't even get grays in their hair until they're like in their 60s. All right? They might have a few sprinkling in their beard. All right? And if the beard is dyed and the fro or the hair is touched up a bit, if you're Northern Kingdom or Southern Kingdom, you're going to look 20 years younger. You're going to look like you're in your mid to late 30s. No, sorry, mid 30s or late 20s. All right? Jake's face will be young, but the hairs might just go a little gray, a little salt and pepper. Okay? And if you look at a lot of our elders and prophets of men of great millstone, they've got young faces, but they've got a few grays. Okay, I can name a few, but I'm not going to do that because, they all look sharp, man. You look at our elders, look at elder apostles, man. All right, elder apostle Tahar, Gabar, Rakayala, elder apostle Ramblab, they're all slim and trim. None of them got guts. All right, they're all slim and trim. Elder apostle Tahar said that he's got his high school weight back, meaning that he's trimmed down to get to his high school weight. That's amazing, man. All right, being at the same weight as you were in high school. All right. And these crackers start looking like demons. All right. You think they're fit to rule? They were meant to rule. Okay. That's why they're against the earth and nature in itself, because their body and their spirit and their flesh is adverse to nature. They look abnormal. So hence the reason they treat the world abnormally and they treat the rest of so-called humanity abnormally. All right. And they behave abnormally. Aren't they all faggots and weirdos and dykes and PDF files and bestiality type so-called people? Yeah. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? This punk ass, man, you come from hunt, I'm about to die. Man, just drink some water and fill up your belly and just wait. But nah, you couldn't do that. You couldn't wait an hour and a half, right? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. He didn't even like his birthright. He despised it. And despise means hate. Okay? Hate. When you despise something, you don't like it. All right? Yeah, he despised his birthright. And all the way up until this day, they're trying to eliminate you Israelites. So if you don't exist anymore, they can take their birthright back. They think that Yahweh Shemashah and say, okay, the Israelites are no longer, okay, we've got to give it to the Edomites. That's not going to happen. Okay? That's not going to happen. These crackers think that the demons they pray to can overpower Yahweh, man. They actually think that when Yahweh Shemashah controls the demons on the left-hand side, Isaiah 45 verse 7. It's over for you devils, man. You have a horrible heritage. The skirt's been lifted. All right, your women don't like you. Your children don't like you. Even young children are saying, even young, if you've seen the videos online, an elder, one of the brothers made a video. There was a young children, a young so-called white girl, an Edomite-looking girl. She could be an Israelite foreigner. Some of them could be Israelite foreigners. I admit that's a possibility. Okay, they're saying I'm black, and the little girl's saying I'm a strong black woman. You know, they don't want to be white. And there's an Edomite little white boy, so-called white boy, looking in the mirror saying, I think he said something along the lines of speaking to his mother, Mother, I want to wash the white off my skin. I want to be brown. You know? Nobody wants to be you Edomites. Now, go back in time 40 years ago. Everyone bleaching their skin, straightening their hair, right? Trying to fit in, getting that process done, trying to fit in, right? Now, fast forward today, it's flipping. People getting spray tans, fake tans. You see Edomite women. Okay, I got a couple of, there's a lot of Polish girls that are, Polish girls marry brown men. They marry Israelite foreigner men. That from my part of the world, Jake, from my part of the world, Israelite foreigner men, Israelite men in general. And a lot of Eastern European women want to look ethnic. They get spray tans done. If they got blonde hair, they dye their hair jet black so they can pass for maybe a Northern Indian girl or maybe a Latina or maybe a Sicilian woman. They want to look ethnic. They want to look exotic. They want to look striking is a term. Okay? Your women don't want you, Esau, Edom. The children don't want to be like you. Okay? The skirt's been lifted, knowing that even Esau, Edom is making videos saying that the J-ish people aren't the Israelites in the Bible. Okay? The Most High and Hamashiach Yahushai aren't so-called white. Okay? Who they're bringing out the fact that who the real kings of the earth are. Okay? And even in hell, right? Our people surpass you. You give us the bullshit foods, the bullshit diet, the drugs in our community, the redlining, the murdering, the slaughter, the enslavement, okay? The mowing out of our children by putting chemicals in the foods. But our people are still better than you in sports, in music. And we created everything. Without the Israelite man, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, America would not exist. Okay? In any shape or form, be it music, inventions, hip talk, clothes, cars, aeroplanes, helicopters, inventions, snacks. Okay, everything. And we're still better than you, even at our lowest. And how much more in the kingdom? And you crackers, you Edomites have had rulership of the world 500 years. And you know how you've been winning? You basically, this is how you are. Oh, you put an Edomite guy in a race. This is just an example, analogy. You put Edomite man, a so-called white man, in a race next to a so-called black man, right? And what you're going to do is you might drug the Edomite, the Israelite man, the so-called black man, or Hispanic or Native Indian man, or something in his maybe his electrolytes or something, right? You might pay off his trainer or whatever, right? Just to slow him down so the white guy could win. This is what the kind of things you do. You trip up Jacob so you can look good. When Jacob wins fair and square every time, even in our lowest, okay? You have to trick people to make yourself look good. Well, we just shine like gold, man, because, we're the Lord's jewelry, okay? Being the real Jews and all, us Israelites, okay? So therefore, all right, even at our lowest, we're better than you crackers, man. All right? And the rest of you heathens. And we have a great heritage as Israelites. We were shining in every captivity. We were shining in America. Even that song, Living in America. Who fucking sung that? Yeah, pardon my French, James Brown. A Gadite, more than likely. All right? One of the owners of America under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai. He's a Gadite. Right? All right? And in our power, which is the kingdom is coming, how much more then? Right? How much more then? So the skirt's being lifted up on you devils, man. Let me just go to one scripture here. No, a couple of scriptures actually. Jeremiah 13:26. Let's go there. Jeremiah 13, verse 26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. All right? You don't walk around, man, Brakti Habashim Shai. I was going to a location yesterday, driving somewhere, and guess what I saw crossing when I pulled up at the traffic lights? All right? It was an Edomite, homeless Edomite. His hair was up to his shoulders, scraggly beard. Man, he looked like a caveman. It was like a caveman that walked out of the caves and somebody put some scruffy, crappy clothes on him. And I looked at this and I praised Yahweh Hashem. I said, Tawada, Lord. Okay, and this is in a very brown area with Jake and heathens. All right, a very brown area and a couple of Polish Edomites and, all that kind of thing. But this is a very brown area, part of London. Brown meaning like brown people. And this cracker, man, you've seen these crackers fall, man. The curses are coming upon these devils. Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. And they are falling. All right? And I praise Yahweh Hashem. I said, Tawada, Lord, for blessing me to see this beautiful scenery of this cracker look like a, being the way he's supposed to be, man, below us. Jeremiah 13, verse 26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. That's why you crackers ain't walking out with your chest out anymore. Huh? Trying to show Richard Gere as King David with his ugly, bald face. A guy who puts a gerbil up his backside. A faggot. You put him down as King David in a movie? Man, you crackers are gonna pay, man. All right, you Edomites are gonna pay. All right, you made our Lord look like you portrayed Yahweh Shai as an Edomite weirdo with long hair, hippie, right? You portrayed the Most High as a so-called white man. You crackers are gonna pay, man, for what you've done. All right, there's a horrible heritage coming for you. All right, let's talk about it. It's a two-part heritage for you devils. All right, 2 parts. All right, and it's poetry for us Israelites, for you crackers, man. Meaning it's a good result, all right, for the hell that you've put upon us. Revelation 39 and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. The elect are patiently waiting for these devils to fall. And you're going into slavery for 1,000 years because the Lord said you're going to get double. 441. You're going to get double. All right? Now, the icing on the cake, bruv. The icing on the cake. Let's go to Obadiah 1:18, yeah? Oh, man, I hate these Edomites. Oh, I hate them, man. I hate them. Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob, all 12 tribes, shall be a fire. Okay, no. And the house of Jacob, the southern kingdom, shall be a fire. And the house of Joseph, a flame, northern kingdom. And the house of Esau, all you so-called white people, all you Edomites, and the house of Esau for stubble. You know what's left over when you burn the shit out of something, all those little bits and bobs of black bits, and it kind of looks like charcoal. That's what you're going to look like, stubble. And the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yashai hath spoken it. That's your heritage, cracker. Short-term microwave rule, being a fag, a weirdo, even in your rulership at the height of it, we're better than you. Your women still desire us. Even right now, beautiful, attractive Edomite women are making videos and putting you and calling you out. And even Edomite women, right? Some of their friends might be dating an Edomite, or they and the Edomite comes to the dorm room or college or high school to pick up the other Edomite girl, and her Edomite friends say, "Why is he white? Why you got to be with a white guy for?" Because they all want an Israelite man, especially the so-called black man, but they also want, Pablo. They want Mario. They want they want Jose. They want that Latin lover. They want that swole Jake. Chocolate tone Jake, and they want that Latin lover, man. They want that Rico Suave. Because they know Jake's gonna put that rhythm in the, you know what I'm talking about. All right, man. You people are nobody people, man. All right, this is your microwave rulership, okay? But when you get burnt up off, but the thing is, when your slavery happens in the kingdom, it's not going to be microwavable. That's going to be a long, 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 long time, like a beautiful meal being cooked, okay? Because for us, it's pleasure. It's going to be pleasure to watch you in pain. It's going to be pleasure to watch you suffer. Fucking Edomites, man. All right? It's going to be pleasure. All right? And then when we burn you up in the king, once your slavery has ended, after 1,000 long years, okay? When we burn you up, good riddance to you devils, man. Whew. No more Edomites in this world ever again. Brakti Yahweh Bahashem Yashai. That's your horrible heritage, devil. All right? I'm going to leave it there now. All praises, honor, glory, blessings, and power be to Abanoah Yahweh Bahashem Yashai. All blessings and power be unto Abanoah Yahweh Bahashem Yashai. Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Okay, double honors again to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophet of that body. And shalom to the 144,001 May peace and blessings be upon you and your households. Okay, if I've said that twice, Salakia. All right. My mind's all over the place. But nevertheless, it's all positive in terms of sending blessings and double honors to our brethren out there, especially our teachers, man, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Mashai. All right. And all praises, honor, glory, blessings, and power be unto Abanoah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.